Hi, good morning. Today's discussion topic is documentations that involved in the international trade. As you all know that there are different types of documents that involved in exporting and importing the products from abroad. So you need to have different types of documents for doing all these international transactions. Each trade document is different from other in terms of various aspects like the description of the products, quality of the products, and how many units of the products that included in that dispatch, and what the mode of transportation has been used, and how many inspection materials that has been included in that. All these things are coming under the international trade documents. Let's look into what are the types of documents that used in the international trade. So one by one, the first one is known as airway bill, and second one is bill of lading, and third one is certificate of origin, and fourth one is combined transport document, and next one is bill of exchange, and next is insurance certificate, and next is packing list of packing specification certificate, and last one is inspection certificate. Let's look into one by one. What is airway bill? It ensures that whether the goods have been received for shipment by airline. So this is a certificate issued by the airline company to prove that this contract for carriage. It's an evidence of the contract for carriage. And this airway bill consists of 3 originals and 9 copies. And what's the purpose of 3 originals of airway bill? And 1 original is for the carrier, and it is signed by the export agent. Export agent will put the signature and it will be given to the carrier for carrying the items. And second original, it's for the consignee's copy. Consignee copy means importer. Importer who is importing the products from abroad, and export agent will put the signature, and this particular original will give to the consignee. This is consignee's copy. And third original, it's signed by the carrier and is handed over to the export agent. Carrier will put the signature on this and it will give it to the export agent. So airway bill, it's ensure that goods have been received for shipment by airline, which is issued by the airline authority to prove that this is a contract for carriage. Let's look into the role of airway bill. Airway bill is always used as a receipt of the goods for shipment. And it's an invoice for delivering the products from the exporter's place to the importer's place. It's just like an invoice. And it's also like a certificate of insurance. And all the products that exported from exporter's place to importer's place has been insured. So it contains a certificate of insurance. It clearly gives a guidelines to the airline staff for handling, dispatching and delivery of the consignment. So it's a bill which consists of receipt of the goods, and it's almost like invoice for the freight, and it's a certificate of insurance. It's a guideline that given to the airline staff for dispatching, handling all these consignment things. Let's look into the second document that's known as bill of lading. Bill of lading, it's a document that issued by the shipping agency or shipping company for the goods that shipped from one destination to another destination for carrying the products. So it's a particular kind of document given by the shipping company. Shipping company is issuing this particular document for transporting the products from one destination to another. So that is known as bill of lading. Bill of lading is issued in 1 set or 2 set or 3 set. Okay, its number will be indicated in the bill of lading, how many sets already issued. So usually if it is given to the unauthorized persons, and unauthorized person should not take the delivery of the products. That's the purpose of bill of lading. Number should be put in the bill. It should be put in that particular bill of lading document. Okay, one original is actually sufficient to take the possession of the goods, and once this bill of lading is given to a person, he can take the delivery of the products. That is actually the appropriate method for issuing the bill of lading. And in the bill of lading, you can see two terms. One is known as freight prepaid and second one is freight collect. Freight prepaid means it is already paid by the freight charges already paid by the exporter or the shipper who shipped the products from there, and he already paid the freight charges. Then it will be mentioned like this: freight prepaid will be in the bill of lading. And freight collect means the freight charges will be paid by the buyer at the port of discharge. At the time of taking the delivery, the buyer must make the payment. Then it is mentioning like this: freight collect. So bill of lading contains two clauses. One is freight prepaid and second one is freight collect. Freight prepaid means it already paid by the exporter, and freight collect means it will be paid by the importer when he is taking the delivery of the products. And basically there are two parties who are involving in this bill of lading. The first party is known as shipper. Shipper is a person who send the goods. Shipper is a person who send the goods, and consignee is a person who take the delivery of the materials. And third party is actually always the carrier, which is important. So these are the parties, basically two parties. One is shipper and second one is consignee. Along with that, one more party is there, that's carrier. And next document is known as certificate of origin. What is certificate of origin? This is a certificate that is issued by the customs authority of the importing country for the purpose of imposing import duty. So the customs authority need this particular document for charging the import duty. So this certificate basically issued by Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce with their signature as well as the seal, and the details of goods that exported or transported. All these things will be contained in this certificate of origin, and it is basically used by the customs authority. Let's look into the contents in the certificate of origin. And name of the company. Name of the company means the exporter's company name, and these address details, everything will be in the certificate of origin. And who is importing the products, that's importer's name and address details will be also included in the certificate of origin. And package numbers and shipping marks, everything will be included in the certificate of origin. And how much weight is actually involved in that consignment, that will be also in the certificate of origin. And finally, the most important thing is this certificate will be signed and the seal will be done by the Chamber of Commerce. And next document is combined transport documents. And this is a multimodal transport document, which is known as if the goods are delivered through different mode of transportation, and this document is necessary. When the goods are transported using more than one mode of transportation, you need to have this document. That document is known as combined transport document. And next one is commercial invoice. What is this? This is just like a export invoice that given by the seller to the buyer. Seller will prepare an invoice and give it to the buyer of the products, and that invoice is known as commercial invoice or export invoice. And customs authorities need this particular invoice for one purpose, the purpose of taxation. Importer's country, customs authorities of the importer's country want to evaluate the total amount of goods for the purpose of charging taxes. That document is known as commercial invoice. So the invoice must be issued by the seller, and invoice will be addressed to the buyer, and it will be signed by the beneficiary. That's known as commercial invoice. And next one is known as bill of exchange. It's a special type of document under which the exporter will ask the importer for making the payment in the future. So it's a request for making the payment in the future. But at the same time, when the importer is putting the signature on that bill and he is agreeing to make the payment to that exporter before the maturity date on or before the future date, that's known as bill of exchange. So this bill of exchange is just a request given by the exporter for making the payment that has to be made by the importer. But at the same time, when the importer is putting the signature, importer is giving an agreement for making the payment. So that's a peculiarity of bill of exchange. So basically there are three parties involved in bill of exchange: drawer, drawee, and payee. And the person who prepares the bill of exchange is known as drawer, and the person who pays the bill is known as drawee, and person to whom the payment is made, that's known as payee. So there are three parties involved in the bill of exchange. So who will draw the bill of exchange? Exporter. Who will draw it? Draw is known as importer. Importer will put the signature and is agreed to make the payment. And payee is known as the person to whom the payment is made. Sometimes the exporter will be the payee. Sometimes exporter agents will be the payee. And next is known as insurance certificate. This is a certificate which ensures that goods transported has been insured under the open policy. Such kind of certificate is known as insurance certificate. This has to be attached in that. Then the next one is packing list. This list should contain the details about the packing materials of the shipping of the goods. Whatever amount of goods that has been dispatched, related to that, all the packing materials details should be included in this packing list. It should contain the description of the goods as well as the shipping marks and the number of materials, packing materials has been used for this purpose. That is packing list. And the last one is inspection certificate. What is this certificate? And the exporter want to deliver the products, and exporter's consignment should be checked by a third party, which can be an inspection agency, and they will check and identify the quality of all these products and give a certificate. That certificate is known as inspection certificate, and they will tell that we inspected all the documents and these products are with high quality, which can be exported from this place to any other place. That certificate is known as inspection certificate. It's a valid inspection certificate, must be attached along with all these documents for the international trade. That's the last document that needed for international trade, which is known as inspection certificate. All these documents are needed for doing this international trade. This is known as international trade documentations. Thank you.